When I first moved to Camden, we was living in the tracks on Campbell Street, and that's where I met Ra for the first time. He was young, wild, and just ain't give a damn. Little did I know, me, Ra, and Rel will become real tight, and they become a big part of my story.
The following story is based on real events from my point of view. Due to privacy and self-incrimination, 98% of the names have been changed. Chapter 4, Behind Enemy Lines. So now I'm living in Camden, South Carolina. I just left Lugos, South Carolina, and it's completely different. Lugos is straight country. One of my neighbors had a goat on his porch, and they don't even feed, I don't know what you're supposed to feed goats, but they was feeding their goat dog food. Their dog was getting fed pedigree. People in South Carolina feed horses pedigree, dogs pedigree. They even feed cats pedigree. Everybody eats dog food. But anyway, now I'm living in Camden, South Carolina. The reason we was living in Camden, South Carolina is because my sister got in trouble in school in Lugos and got expelled, and they found out we was living in Camden but going to school in Lugos, and they wasn't having it. So as we were starting our new year off going to school in Camden, we was sitting at the bus stop, and that's when we met our new neighbors. They were 4 brothers from Brooklyn, New York, and this was also their first year going to school in Camden. Honestly, it was almost like we was meant to meet each other. We had so much in common, and we instantly became cool. The 2 younger brothers was the ones I hung out with the most. Redline was built like a grown man, but me and him was the same age.
Dilla from House Party, yo.
And Crook was the youngest brother. He was 2 years younger than me and Redline. Crook always hung out with me and his older brothers. He never hung out with nobody his age. When we got on this bus, this kid named Flip was acting like he's sneezing, but he was saying, "Shut the fuck up." He was cursing and acting like he's sneezing though. He started saying that every time someone started talking. Redline was trying to get some sleep, and I could see that Flip was annoying him. Redline stood up and said, "Hey yo son, shut the fuck up." Flip sneezed and said, "Shut the fuck up." After that, Redline jumped up out of his seat, walked over to Flip, and slapped the shit out of him. And Redline said, "I said shut the fuck up." I was shocked, but at the same time, I was glad to have somebody like that on my side. Eventually, me and Redline became like brothers. We was the same age and the same grade, and we always hung out. Honestly, nobody in our school really liked us because we both was from New York, and we was different from everybody at our school. Once again, I was a new student and had a lot of people fucking with me because of my New York accent. Nobody fucked with Redline though. I guess nobody fucked with him because he was bigger than most of those niggas in our grade. I was tall and lanky, so everybody looked at me as somebody that they could beat up. And people tried, but they failed. Every time I wasn't around Redline, I felt like I was outnumbered and everybody was always trying to argue and fight with me all the time. One day I'm chilling in this class and this kid named Quay kept fucking with me because of my accent. Quay said, "Y'all New York niggas think y'all hard, huh?" I kept ignoring him and his ignorant ass remarks until he said, "You soft." Once I heard him say that, I stood up, my fist balled up. I was like, "What up, bitch?" Quail stood up, so I walked up to him and pushed him against the wall. I pushed his back to the wall. Once his back of his head touched the wall, I cocked back and punched him in the face as hard as I could. As soon as we started scuffling, our teacher came in and broke it up. I had 2 teachers escort me to the principal's office. Me and Quay both got suspended for 3 days. 3 days later, when I went back to school, I saw Quay and his older brother E-Mac and 2 of their cousins walking towards me and Redline. They approached us and made a circle around us. Me, Redline, and Quay was all in the 7th grade at this time, but his older brother E-Mac and his 2 cousins was in the 8th grade. E-Mac said, "What happened between you and my brother?" I said, "Man, we fought 1-on-1. E-Mac said, "Well, how about me and you fight 1-on-1? Redline stood in front of me and said, "Yo, y'all better fall back." Me and Redline was outnumbered, but we still wasn't gonna back down from a fight. E-Mac pulled a brush out of his pocket and clenched it tight in his hand while looking at Redline. The school bell rung and we all started walking away in separate directions. At that moment, I knew I was behind enemy lines and I knew what I had to do to survive. Once again, I was gonna have to fight and force people to respect me or they was gonna keep fucking with me. People was always trying to pick fights with me because I was skinny and I was different from them. So I had no choice but to fight or continue to get bullied, which I was not gonna let nobody bully me, so I had no choice but to fight. I always wanted to just live a nice, peaceful life, but it wasn't gonna happen anytime soon. I got numerous fights and I was against everyone. The kids in Camden didn't really like me because I was from New York. Most of them was related to each other, like all of them was cousins. And I used to go to Lugorf before I went to Camden, and Lugorf is Camden's rival school.
Another reason they like me in Camden was because of my uncles. See, my uncles moved to Camden. They brought that New York shit with them. They was part of a crew called the Nappy Heads that was in Astoria Projects, and they all moved to South Carolina with us. And while we was out there, they caught a body. One of my uncles got 30 years, one got 6 years, one got 2 years. But anyway, they was locked up, and everybody knew who we was, so nobody could get to them. So I was the next target. That's why nobody in Camden liked me, because my uncle killed somebody that everybody liked. So I had to deal with the bullshit. Not only that, you know, I went from Lugorf to Camden.
So far, I won all my fights, and everybody started noticing how strong I was. So instead of fighting me one-on-one, people used to always try to jump me. Always. It was no way for me to have an even match as everybody trying to jump me. So at this point, all I could think about was to start my own game. I had to figure out a way to get people to join my side, but it wasn't going to be easy because I was the person that everybody hated the most. I guess everybody wanted to go against me because I was skinny, I looked like an easy win. I don't know, to this day, I've never known what made everybody go against me. It ain't my personality because I'm antisocial, so I'm guessing it's my demeanor. I guess I walk around looking tough, I don't know. I was skinny, but I was tall, and my height gave me advantage in fights because I had long reach. At this point, me and Redline decided that if we was gonna start a game, then we should recruit people that's not from South Carolina. Like, we're not from South Carolina, so they don't need to be from South Carolina. I decided that since we're both from up north, then the name of our gang should be called the Northside Hoods. That name was perfect for us because everybody in our school classified us as the up north niggas. We always stood out because of our up north New York style, but I felt like we didn't stand out enough. I wanted to be the complete opposite of all my enemies. I had to think of a way to make myself stand out even more. When I got home, I was watching a Bone Thugs video on TV, and I noticed that they stood out from a lot of rappers because all of them had braids. At that moment, I decided to grow my hair out. My mother didn't want me to have hair. Every time my hair got to a certain length, she'll make me cut it. So what I did was wear a do-rag for a few months. And then when I took the do-rag off, I noticed I had enough hair to get braided.
Back then, we used to always wear different do-rags, colorful do-rags, two-tone do-rags, all that shit. A lot of people used to clown us for our do-rags, you know what I'm saying? Like this one kid named Bron was talking shit about Redline do-rag. Next thing I know, they in each other's face arguing. All of a sudden, Bron cocked back and slapped the shit out of Redline. Man, Redline looked possessed after that. His eyes got big, he ran full speed towards Bron. Now, everybody got their own view of this story, but let me tell y'all how I seen it from my point of view. After Bron slapped Redline lifted him up by both his arms, slammed his back into the wall, then dropped him on the radiator. Somehow, Redline was able to get behind him, wrapped his feet, like while he got him in the full Nelson, he wrapped his feet around his stomach and started squeezing him, and it looked like Bron's eyes was about to pop out his head, his tongue was about to come out his mouth. And the principal and another teacher was trying to pry Redline off him, but they couldn't. Redline was just squeezing like, I'm going to kill him. But somehow they was able to separate them. Redline blacked out. That shit was crazy.
But anyways, a few months passed, and now me and Redline in the 8th grade. Me, Redline, and all his brothers got braids. And when we got to school, we got a lot of attention. It's like all of the girls started liking me now, and all the dudes started getting jealous. Me and Redline started getting into a lot of fights in our school, and our reputation started to grow. We both became cocky and arrogant. I remember one day I'm just chilling in class, minding my business, and this boy named Martin kept picking on my accent. It's like every time I spoke, he imitated my voice, and everybody started laughing. I got tired of him copying my accent, so I said, yo, you gay, son. Martin stood up, and we both started arguing with each other. Our teacher told us to sit down and calm down. A few moments later, I walked past Martin's desk and he tripped me with his foot as I walked past. Everybody started laughing because I almost fell. So I stood over Martin with my fist balled up. I said, if you ever do that again, I'm gonna knock you the fuck out. Martin stood up and we both was face to face with our fists balled up. Martin was twice my size, but I was so mad that I didn't even care. I know if I lose a fight, my reputation is going to go down, but I wanted to punch Martin so bad, I was willing to put my reputation on the line. I never lost a fight, and I never wanted to lose one, but I couldn't just let anybody bully me, so I was going to do what the fuck I had to do. I walked back to my desk, and that was it. Later that afternoon, as I'm sitting at the bus stop, Martin kept fucking with me, and we backed each other's face, shouldering each other, but the art teacher seen us and told me to get on my bus and told Martin to get away, and Martin was like, "I'ma fuck you up." The next day when I got to school, I realized that I forgot to put deodorant on. I thought to myself, damn, now I gotta find a way to go home. I knew that if I fought Martin, I'll get sent home and suspended, so I just started that if he started with me today, I was gonna finish him off. Fighting Martin would get me sent home and it would stop him from picking on me. That's killing two birds with one stone. I could beat up a bully, build my reputation, and go home. I walked up to a group of boys that was near the 8th grade building. I asked them, "Hey yo, y'all seen Martin today?" This boy named Kel said, "Yeah, what, y'all gonna fight?" I started laughing because I knew Kel was gonna be the one to instigate the fight. So I said, "Where he at?" Kel walked off and came back with Martin a few minutes later. When Martin walked towards me, the group of boys, he made a circle around me and then he stood in front of me with an evil look. Kel came behind me and pushed me in the back so me and Martin could be face to face. Martin and I were now face to face just staring at each other, but neither one of us budged. Kel walked behind me, grabbed my wrist and slapped Martin in the face with my hand. Everybody started laughing and Martin was looking mad as hell. At this moment, I was having a flashback of when my father made me slap my friend Pop, and I just started laughing. Kel said, "Martin, you gonna take that?" And another kid yelled, "Hey Martin, how you let skinny ass Jason slap you like that?" I looked back at the group of boys, I said, "It's J-kool, not Jason." Then I looked at Martin, and I said, "I didn't slap you, Kel did." Martin pushed me in the chest as hard as he could and said, "Fuck you, J-kool." As Martin reached his hands out to push me again, I pulled his hoodie over his face and started punching him in the head while dragging him by his hoodie. A female teacher ran over to us and tried to separate us, but she got knocked down. All of a sudden, a police officer ran towards us and separated us. I was calm and smiling because I just beat the shit out of Martin in front of everybody. Martin was pissed off and embarrassed because he lost a fight to me in front of everybody, and he had a reputation for being a big bully. Martin was still trying to fight me, so the officer had to detain him and put handcuffs on him, and then he grabbed both of us and escorted us to the office. As we was being escorted to the office, I seen Redline and all of my friends looking at me smiling. While we were sitting in the office, the officer told me that I probably was going to have to go to court before I returned back to school because I have a history of school fights. The officer called my mother and he told me that my mother sounded pissed. This is only my second year at the school, and I already been suspended 3 times for fighting. Tell y'all I got the name J-kool. So me and my cousin Alex was making each other in a video game. I think it's called Real Deal Boxing. It's a Holyfield boxing game for Sega. But anyway, I made my cousin Alex character that looked like him, and I named the character Nick Nick Tick. And he was like, "You trying to be funny? Well, I got a character for you." So he made a character that resembled me, and he said, "You a fake LL Cool J. I'm going to call you J-kool." So I got the name from my cousin.
I went to Lubbock, then I went to Camden Middle. The niggas in Camden ain't like me, cause I went to Lubbock, but I told them I ain't from there. I was from New York, but they still look to me as a rival, call me a river rat, and I end up getting in fights back to back. Then I met those brothers after that, they was like my brothers, those niggas had my back.